Do you know anything about Huebel's new show?
No, yeah, I keep planning to like. Thank you, good comptrolling.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Huebel, what are you plugging? And may I congratulate you on your choice of venue to plug it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not plugging that hard. We made this show for YouTube Red, which is like their new pay thing, But yeah, it just came out. It's called "Do You Want to See a Dead Body?"
Oh yeah, okay. I heard you talking about this on God damn it, how did this get made?
Yeah. And so it's basically I used to do this bit on Funny or Die, and we just expanded that into like a larger TV world where I just take different comedians out to go find a fucking dead body somewhere.
Is it sort of like, are you accomplishing, even ironically, interview while you're going?
No, that was we thought about. That was going to be that was like our original idea. It was like, it'll be like a talk show, and I'll talk to them. But no, it's fully scripted. So I play me, and they play a weirdo version of them. But it's always like, it's very little about the body.
Have you met our new running character, Tiny Brandon?
Brandon said he want a drink.
It's
I'm wondering did you think that no one was going to notice you? Like, he just slid.
Tiny Brandon, can you stick around a little while?
Sure.
Just okay. I don't.
We were talking about the show, about dead bodies.
Tiny Brandon, are you worried about America?
I open up for Kevin Hart, and when we're on tour, I see a lot of different faces, all so big.
I thought Tiny Brandon was a child. I think he's an adult, but he's mentally handicapped.
Yeah, when I first saw him, I thought it was like part of the Harmon Babies thing we're launching, where it's like all of us that are like but younger. But no, I think he's
Tiny Brandon.
Yeah, he's 48 and he's fucked up. Like there was a fuck up at the hospital.
Under the podium, and then when Big Brandon needs something, I comes out. I'm Tiny Brandon. Now back to your show.
Okay, thank you, Tiny Brandon. We won't
keep
you.
Thank you, Tiny Brandon. Someone should make a T-shirt with Tiny Brandon on it.
Someone will do something. We've got some very talented fans.
What'd I miss?
Huebel's show. Huebel was talking about his show. That's what I missed.
But so it's basically just an excuse for me to hang out with that person. But it's not like a reality show. It's a scripted thing. So supposedly, famous people will drop whatever they're doing and come with me to go find a different dead body every episode.
But not all famous people, because obviously, like I wasn't called.
No, there was no way to use every famous person in Hollywood.
There's also so many famous people nowadays.
There's so many famous people, and I put famous in quotes.
Right.
But
do you find a body?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't find a body. Sometimes the guest become like there's one with John Cho that starts out, and 5 seconds into it, he falls into a thing of quicksand. And so the whole episode is me. I run into town to buy some rope, and then I just keep getting distracted and, getting harangued into something else. And then I keep coming back to him to give him an update. And every time he's like lower and lower in the quicksand. So then he becomes the body,
That's awesome.
So, and then there's like one with Cordry where Cordry starts taunting this big dog, and we're cutting through someone's backyard. And there's this big fucking mean dog, and Cordry starts like taunting it. Of course, the dog breaks off his chain, and the whole episode is us running full speed away from this murdering, like very scary dog. And so it's just dumb bits like that. They're 15 minutes long, super super easy and silly, and it's like my favorite thing.
I know this is a dumb question, and I have a show with YouTube Red, so I get asked this question and have no idea how to answer it, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Maybe other people know how to answer it. Maybe that's why they ask. What was it
like to work with them?
YouTube Red?
I've told everybody it's been really great because they let me do literally anything. Like literally anything. They were just like super psyched. I think they're just kind of getting going with a lot of their shows and trying to get more people to come and do shows there. So, I think at the beginning, like Netflix and Amazon, when they first started, they're like, how do we get good people to come make shows here. Oh, we don't fuck with them. You know?
Right.
So that was my experience. They were super cool to me. I wish that they would run fucking commercials like on TV for it and stuff like that. But they're like, no. We're YouTube. We're going to put it like all around YouTube. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I'll leave that to you guys. You know.
I think they're making. I'm very dubious about one, but this also might not be an actual thing that they're doing. This may be how they explain what they're doing to people they have no intention of bringing back for a second season. But what I'm hearing through the grapevine is that their methodology is like they're just waiting to see how many people subscribe, and then of that group of people that subscribe, like how many of them, based on the behaviors that are very monitorable from YouTube's cockpit, like how many of them subscribed for your show, and how many of them, like very, very meticulous, intricate, very valuable data. But there's this kind of aspect to it where it's like they're not they're waiting to get the entire picture. Yeah. And I feel
what's scary about that, all that stuff is so measurable now. You know, like Netflix and everything. They can tell what you watch, how long you watch it. Did you watch the whole thing? Did you not watch it? What else you watch that's like that? So that sort of stuff is scary, and that like. Because none of those places have ratings, but they have even more specific data. Which is.
But I would have liked, because your show, it makes more sense. Just the title makes more sense. The premise makes more sense. My show was, it ended up being community, what if esports, it was like kind of like, oh, this could be a real TV show. And if I had known what the business plan was going to be in terms of like how you got a pickup, I would have called my show, for instance, do you want to see a dead body? Literally, because that's like the most brilliant, because it's like I would have leaned into
some kind of hook,
or I would have called it like fuck, fuck, full fuck,
cool dicks.
But there was a lot of talk of like TV 14, TV, this and that. It was like, well, that sounds weird because you like that's not Amazon, that's not Netflix, that's those other companies were just like, it is true that those companies are like, well, we don't really know what we're doing, so let's just start doing it. Who wants 10 episodes? Okay, this person worked in TV, this person worked in TV. And that I'm worried about this model like dying on the vine a little bit, like, but then again, they're YouTube,
they can the money in the world.
They can do it once wrong and then shake it off and do it, and then be even better than everybody.
Well, they're definitely figuring aspects of it out. I think, like, because I was worried about that too, like the TV 14 type approach, because I didn't want to do that. I don't want to like make a show that's appropriate or palatable for like little kids. Like, I don't really care. Like, all I really wanted to do was make a super fucked up, funny show with our friends, and like I knew that if we did that, then that's all I can control. Like I can't control any of the other bullshit of the marketing and who subscribes to it and how many people, blah blah blah. So I try to approach things as I'm sure you do. It's just like, someone gave us some money to make this. Let's make this thing as cool as we can, and then maybe we'll get to make more. Who knows? If we don't,
I should have approached it more like that. But then again, that's not how this project got developed. Like, people came in that like were excited about the esports thing, and it had an exciting take on it. We took it wide. YouTube Red ended up expressing the most interest in it. So that whole process is kind of like incompatible with the idea of, and then we'll see if anyone wants to subscribe based on zero promotion and what they click on and how long they click on it. But like, again, I would have called my show Pussyfoot. It would have been the adventures of Pussyfoot, and the sub headline would have been like, could a pussy be a shoe? Like something, or like I would have called it McSniblets, the Pussy Shoe Diaries. Anything that would like be trendable and clickable and like, and would have had like a guerrilla feel to it too. Because I wouldn't have tried to make Cheers. That doesn't make any sense. If you don't know Cheers exists, and frankly, if you aren't being told by People Magazine that Cheers is worth watching, you're not going to watch it. So I don't know. I think we did it wrong.
Well, it's tricky for sure, and our show just came out on Friday, so I don't. I mean, I will say this too about the name of the show has not been an easy name in the current country that we live in because, we were going to put the show out last month, and then the Las Vegas shooting happened, and YouTube was like, no, like, don't put it. And they were like, let's move in. I was like, yes, absolutely.
And then at a certain point, you guys just do a little bit of ADR and change the name to the show as, would you like to avoid seeing a dead body at all costs? And then it's like a hit. It's like
but I mean,
the only thing you can click on to guarantee you don't see one. And then there's like one coming around the corner. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I've just told people like in press and stuff like, this is not me killing people. There's no violence in the show. It's just a fucked up treasure hunt. It's like me. It's like Stand By Me, it's like, but just with like funny adults.
That's really
so, but it's still like the name of it scared them a lot. I think is just as far as shit that keeps happening. Like they're like, oh yeah, we can't put it out now. There was just this,
Yeah, well, let's wait. Let's wait until these mass shootings cool down.
Yeah, or until death goes away.
Until
no one died today.
until absolute. 100% saturation to the point where no one could possibly be offended because it would be like if your show was called Who Wants to Breathe Oxygen?
Yeah.
Because there's just dead bodies everywhere. But what's funny about this in like a weird Magnolia-ish way is I'm just remembering it, not to make us feel old, but it's got to be almost 20 years ago now when The Human Giant was on MTV and I had a sketch show on VH1 and the Virginia Tech massacre happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think Columbine happened before that, right? Columbine was before Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech was then like it was taken very seriously. I didn't mean to say that in an eye-rolling way. I'm just like saying with all of us, it's like, Jesus Christ, somebody send those people a message about how serious to take death. But the craziest, I was watching MTV, I was watching your guys' show, and that sketch, Blood Pact, Blood Oath.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a sketch on the Human Giant show. The guys are trying to decide where to eat lunch during their business lunch, and they take a blood oath to.
Yeah, we decide to go to a barbecue place, but just in order to guarantee that no one will change their minds, we go into like the storeroom of the store. We work in like a fucking tiny little video game store. We're like, okay, well, let's just so we're on the same page, like, let's go take a blood oath, so that no one changes where we're going today, So we go in the back, and there's just this fucking ritual where we all slice open our hand, and it becomes really gruesome, and like we drink blood, and it becomes like a bananas.
Maybe I mentioned this the last time were you and Sheer on the show together and on this show together? Maybe I brought
last
this
time,
up.
Yeah.
Did I bring this up?
I don't
that
think
time?
so.
But yeah, so I'm watching that sketch, and the other thing is that also at the time, my sketch show on VH1, like there was this cold open we wanted to do where there was a sniper in the show or something that was like kind of an old SCTV style thing where it was just like we would just have different gimmicks for our wraparounds, and like we wanted to just have there was a sniper loose as a cinematic trope. Now you can't pitch that without you would think like, oh, you're doing a mass shooting joke. It's like, no, snipers weren't that topical.
Yeah.
They were a cinematic trope.
Yeah.
And so it started. When we wrote it, it was that, and then Virginia Tech happened, and then the word came down from VH1, which is the same company. Viacom, it's saying like, no, can't do this sniper sketch.
And then you turned on the TV and saw.
Well, here's what I saw, and I was like, I thought, I was watching it, and then so that sketch is they take the blood oath, so then it just goes insane, and it's like they're rubbing blood on each other's nipples, and they're just like drinking blood, and it's going insane, and it turns into this like satanic thing, and there's just blood everywhere, and in the middle of it, just quietly and unceremoniously, this giant lower third bug comes up, and it says, MTV supports the families of the victims of the Virginia Tech
Are
massacre.
you serious?
Wow.
And it just stayed there.
During that sketch, like just coincidentally, or they?
I didn't
someone
think it was a
worried?
coincidence.
Wow.
Because
I never heard
of the
that.
note I got from VH1, I was like, oh, and I parsed it in two. I was like, oh, because we're not Human Giant, we got to get our thing killed. But then I thought, well, be reasonable, Dan. They already shot this.
Yeah.
It's airing, and they killed your script, but this couldn't be killed, so they brought this bug up
That's
over it.
amazing.
Then I talked to people about it later and explained that story, and so, I don't know. It could have been you even said like, no, that had to be coincidence, just sheer coincidence. But it looked like they.
I don't. Would be. I don't think that they are organized enough to like go through their shows and know that there's a really violent, bloody sketch airing tonight. We should put a condolence message there, but that is perfect timing, and also. I don't know. It sounds like something Viacom would do too. You know, like this is really
perfect
fucked up.
way of dealing with it, because then the families of the victims would be so relieved.
Oh yeah,
they'd be watching the sketch.
They'd be
and
watching
going,
the sketch.
Well, wasn't there
show.
blood everywhere when my brother got killed? And so I'm feeling bad. I think I should start flipping the channel. Honey, wait,
look. There's a message.
We love you.
Oh,
we love you, Donald. Fuck. If they're gonna put that lower third,
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with this sketch.